Good evening folks, I don't know what's happened to camera number 2, never mind, I'm not messing with it now. There's more to life than pissing about with the bloody camera. I've not got a clue, the camera's on, so I don't understand why it's not working. Good evening folks, I don't know what's... There we go. Right, we don't need camera 2 anyway, because we're going to be mainly using camera 4. And what we've got tonight, we've got the Uniden Uni-Ace 100, and the problem with this is there's no signal meter in it. I've found the correct factory mic actually, but it was wired for Cybernet, so I've had to rewire it for Uniden. I've done that off camera. So let's turn it on. There's no speaker, but we've got the external speaker. And if I key it up, we're all plugged in. If I key it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're working. So I'll turn that Midland down. Coming through that Midland, lovely on this. What I've done, I've borrowed these cores out of the Interceptor because they do fit. So what we can do a tune up. Don't know about that one there, I don't know what's happened to that. Anyway, it's tuning up nicely anyway. We're actually getting nearly 5 watts out of it, believe it or not. Now, so we'll go these. Oh, that one slipped straight in. And we need to get that back up. Now, let's see if we get that back out. It is coming out actually. Yeah, we've gone down to 3 watts. So we need that to come up. Because it should really have a bit of an elastic in there as well, but it's missing. So we need to open have to desolder this cord to get this back out. Yeah. See if we can adjust that one. See, they do fit because that one fits. And the same size. What a bummer. Let's see if I can just tap it out. If not, I'll have to... Let's just turn it off. We could be there, sat there all day pissing about and get nowhere. We need to put the crystal through the correct way as well. And I think it's there and there. Them two. I think it's them two. And make sure. Yeah, it's that one. And I think it's that one. Is that how I done that correct one? Yeah. Yeah, it's the right one. There we go. Now all we do is just get the... Yeah, because look at that. Yeah, it's a bit smaller, that one. What we'll do, we'll leave that out for now. And we'll put the coil back and put the coil back in. Put the coil back in. And there we go. We should still get about 4 watts out of it. I have to find, there's supposed to be a bit of elastic or something in there as well. That's going to drop out. So that's that in. See, that core has to be in there because it's coming straight off the output transistor. Now, yeah, 4 watts. So what we'll do, now, we'll try and tune this one. Let's turn it down. Let's turn it up. And let's put the meter where you can all see it. I never thought of that. I could be doing anything here. Let's put the meter where it can be seen so that you can get a view of the meter. Let's just let's just put that there. There you go. Shut up, Scraps. SWR's nice and low, but it will be, it's going into a dummy load. So what we'll do now, we'll adjust, see if we can adjust the low power. That's high power. And I think this one is for the low power, but I'm not completely sure. Yeah. And low power, we're going to set it to about there. 0.5. Just below 0.5. So that's the low power. And that's the high power. And we're actually getting 4 watts, which is what we're supposed to get. It's a shame that that coil is a little bit smaller than that, but I don't understand, because unless these are different widths, this one here, I don't think this is part of the transmit. No. So what we'll do now, we'll go through the transmitter again. We'll go through the transmitter again. Just peak everything up. Peak it up so everything's nice. I'll have a look at the chat in a minute, see who that is. That's good. And I don't think this is in the transmitter. No, it's in the receiver. And of course our main coil here. That's peaked. That's 4 watts, which is what this radio can legally do. So we don't need to worry about that one. Now let's check the power on channel 40 and channel 1 and make sure the power's balanced. There's channel 1 with 4 watts and channel 40 with 4 watts. Now let's check the frequency. I don't expect the frequency to be spot on because the crystal's years old, it might even be out of tolerance. So we'll put it onto low power for this test. We'll clip our frequency counter on and we'll 27992. What should it be? Let me just check. Let me just check what it should be. I mean, it might be out of tolerance, that. But the problem is you can't get any new crystals. I mean, you can when you do find them. People want the bloody earth for them. Let me just minimise this a minute and have a look at my crystal, my frequency. So it should be 2779. 2779. That's a bit high. 2779. I mean, it is intolerance, I suppose. I'll just to check. You can't adjust these. But just in case this has been messed with. Well, you can't adjust these. Right, you can't adjust them. Right, that's right with the frequencies 2799 to 187. That's a bit out of spec. Let's see how it sounds on the Midland. And then we'll look at the frequency on the Midland. That Midland should be pretty much spot on. So 1212. Hang on. Why are we not transmitting? Oops. No, we can't adjust the frequency, but we're not. Oh, we're on channel 40. What an idiot. Oh. 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4. That sounds alright. That's PA. 1 2 3 4. That's alright. I just need to find another one now to get the bits that are missing. But this is working perfectly. Don't know what the receive's like. We can have a look. Output transistor's a bit warm, but there again it would be, wouldn't it? Let's plug this into the... Let's turn this off. There's not a lot I can do about the receive because I've no signal meter, so... Right, let's see if I can... Oh, hang on. Let me just check this frequency again. I checked it on channel 40, didn't I? What an idiot. I checked it on channel 40. Of course it's going to be a way off, isn't it? Check it on channel 40. Let's check it again on channel 20. What an idiot. Do you know something? Sometimes I need my head feeling. Clip that back onto there. Put it back into low power. That should be 0.4 watt is out, high power is in. There we go. Let's just actually, it's not too bad. That's actually in spec, because it's actually 27792173. So it's a little bit out, but it's out, not out enough where it's critical. So what we can do next, we can think about moving the reference crystal back onto this side of the board where it belongs. I'll unplug the mic, turn that Midland off, turn this Uniden off, get the frequency counter out of there. I've got the case for this somewhere, but this is pretty much how I got it, but it came in bits. But I am actually quite pleased at the fact that, because they're not bad, these little Unidens. I had one years ago. I had the Audio Line 341 as well. I've got a chassis off one end somewhere, but I had a really nice one years ago, back in the day. It was modified, but back then I didn't really care about modified rigs. I just wanted channels that everybody, that nobody else. I wanted to be able to go somewhere. Need to do that. That's a dry joint. So let's just fix that while we're here. There we go. Now let's see where our crystal bloody goes, because I get confused. That's not it there. And that's it there. It's right next to the, it should be right next to the ceramic filter. I hate doing the other side of the boards. I mean, you get, it's there. Why can you never find? Oh, for fuck's sake. Why can you never find the stuff that you want on the other side? It'd be nice to be able to make these adjustable. I mean, I think that's it there, but it can't be. Can't be. I'm just looking. That's not it. There it is. See, there's your transformer. Yeah, there are your transformers there. And your crystal. There's one of your holes for it. There we go. No wonder the bloody leg's still in there. That's it. The bloody legs are still in there from the old crystal. Now let's straighten this one up if we can. It's a bit battered, this crystal, but it'll work. and we know it's within tolerance, so we're going to go with it. Yeah, it's been squashed, but it's obviously not damaged the crystal. Bend that over. There we go. Piece of solder. Whoops. Let's solder our crystal in. There we go. And we are sorted. Let's plug it back in. External speaker. Dummy load and test. SWR meter. And power cable. Right, let's switch it on. Plug the mic in. We don't want to be panicking, we've got no audio sound, no incoming audio, do we? Right, I can't make any adjustments because my signal generator isn't working. Ooh. I can't go off that. Right. So what we need to do is get the signal generator sorted. I might have a look at that tomorrow. Let me just plug this into the. I'll just plug this into the Midland, and I can key up the Midland and just check the detector. Because there's certain adjustments I can do. Right, so now we're safe to key up the Midland. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's the detector there. Ooh. 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That sounds better. That's improved a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello. 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 Well, that's too much out, because it shouldn't be all the way out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2. That's really, that's peak that anyway. The problem with these Midlands, you can't put them on low power. 1, 2. for transmit. I don't think that one is. That's it. And these are VCO. Don't want to touch that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just adjust the detector. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The only problem is you get this howling. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. That's horrible. Hello. I'd say that's about right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'd say that's about right for now anyway. When I sort the signal, so what we'll do now, we'll unplug that from the Midland, and we'll just plug that back into the Uniden. And I'd say right, so just that these here so we get a hiss up. I'd say we're probably about right. It's just 1, 2, 1, 2. You just can't do it because of the whistling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. I wonder, I haven't got anything I can use. I can't use the Field Tech because it doesn't do RF, it only does AF, I believe. Let's have a look. Let's go to, see, I've never actually used this thing, so not that well, not that much anyway, so we'll go to, I don't know. It's got a sweep on it, it does that. Menu. See, I've never actually, see, this is, see, and I can't use this. I'll try it, but I don't think this is going to work. This is the drape that over there. You just can't. Oh, it is working. It is working. Right. Let's bring it up a bit now. Right, let's see if we can get the scope on. It would be nice. Got all this crap tangled round it. Might not be able to get to it. Oh, for fuck's sake. There we go. Right, so we can clip onto the speaker and then unplug the external speaker. So press that to auto set it up for me. There we are. So let's unplug this internal speaker, external speaker even. Right, let's set that up. Right. It's a bit noisy. Try these the other way around. Bloody hell. Get on there. There we go. Right. That's nothing. It would be nice if we had a nice clean wave on there, but we haven't. That's nothing. And what we want is, let's just check we're tuned here. Let's just plug that back in a minute. Let's tune that in. Yeah. Right, so let's check. You can't get down onto there. Let me just, because let's put that on there. There we are. That's it. Hold that on there. Now I can make the adjustments. Let's give that a press. There we go. There we are. Right, we want to adjust for maximum recovered audio, and that's the detector set, and the detector is this one here. That is now perfect. We've peaked that for maximum recovered audio, so I can plug the external speaker back in, because I don't need the oscilloscope now, so I'll get rid of that. You only need that for setting the detector, and we've done that, so we don't need that now. So now we can just adjust. And we're not on full. We're actually turned down on the attenuator. That's full up. That's fully down. Oh. There we go. Now just go through the RF. Just peak them. I'd say it's about right. Just put the scope back on and I'll actually go over them all. I'll double check them all with this. I'm going to clip onto there actually. Unplug that. See, he's knowing which one of these bloody wires is positive and negative. That one's positive. adjust that. Now we can set up. You can't see the scope from here, but that's alright. Let's press that. There we go. Now we can set these up. I'm doing all this by eye, and we know the detector's set, but we'll just check it. Actually, we've got a bit more. Let's just bring that down a bit. See if we can. Let's connect that onto here. Just put that onto there. Yeah. Yeah, just let's turn that up a bit. There we go. Right. There we go. Yeah, that's about right. Let's plug that back in. I mean, this is only an AM generator, so hang on. And it's probably drifted. Let's just yeah, they do drift a bit, them generators. Yeah, we're not doing bad there now. That's it. Let's see how that Midland sound's going into it. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. That's alright. That sounds alright. Let's turn that off. That sounds alright. That sounds alright. Sounds clear. A bit owly, but it sounds clear. But it will be, won't it? The thing's right next to it. And I've not really any other way of testing them. So we'll just double check the power, because I turned that yellow one and that's power. So we'll just double check the power. That's it. Make sure that we've got, yeah, we've got dead on 4 watts. Yeah. And this one here is power as well, I think. No, that one's RF. There we go. Let's receive. Right. Let's see how we're going to see how we transmit into this Midland. Let's put it on low power. We shouldn't need high power. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. It's working. And this one, very briefly, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. But you've got to remember the deviation in that Midland is a bit high, it needs coming down. And I've not got to it yet. Let's see what the chat's saying, shall we? I'm doing fine, thanks, Paul. Used to repair Midlands for a living, yeah. I've not done too many of them, but there again, I find them pretty reliable radios, to be perfectly honest. Right. Yeah, the Cobra 1428 GTL base that needs work done. Hello. And Simon's there again. Hello, solder suckers. Hello, Simon. Yeah. But yeah, I think yeah, the Midlands, they were actually fairly reliable. I mean, mine's a bit scabby, to be perfectly honest. Mine's a bit ropey, but it does work. It needs a deviation bringing down, and we'll probably do that. I don't know whether I want to do it in this video, but yeah, that's why it's a bit owly. But we need a signal meter for this, and I've got the case half somewhere for it, along with the loudspeaker somewhere. I should have the cases for it somewhere. Trying to think where. Hope I haven't chucked them, because that would be a bit of a bummer, wouldn't it, repairing the radio and then chucking the cases. Yeah, that'd be a bit of a, yes, be a bit of a bummer really. But I don't know why camera 2 hasn't come on, and that's been doing my head in. I don't know why. I'm going to have a quick play now while we're talking. See if I can get it to come on. I mean, we've got the and the camera is working. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to there. There you are. It's a bit jumpy though, isn't it? Look at that. Yeah, it's a bit crappy. Let's just check unplug. There we are. Yeah, just a dirty lead. I think that USB lead's a bit dirty, and that's why it does that now and again. But yes, all the cameras are now working. Yeah, I mean, I can remember the very when I got into Citizens Band Radio. It was in about 1979, 1980, because a friend of mine, it hadn't been legalised yet. It was about 1979, 78, 79 actually, because a friend of mine, his brother was in the army in Germany, and he brought him a Midland 3001 over AM. Brought him a Midland 3001. And I remember it because my mate had this car seat. He had this table with a radio on it. He had a car seat. Don't ask me why he had a car seat. He had a car seat, and he had a DV27 on a biscuit tin, and that was my first experience of CB radio, and it was Christmas Day 1979. He got it as a Christmas present. It was either 78 or 79, I think it was 79. No, it wouldn't be. No, it was 78 he got it. Yeah, it had to be 78. Yeah, 78 it was. And his cousin also got one. And I asked him what I didn't know what it was. I mean, I knew it was some sort of a radio, obviously, but I didn't know what it was for. I'd never heard of Citizens Band Radio. I mean, I was 13. I'd never heard of it, and he was about, I think he was about a year older than me, my mate Colin. Colin Dewist he was called, anyway, and he. What we did, we went round to his brother, went round to his cousin. He didn't phone his cousin. What we did, we went round there, because he only lived up the road, and asked him to turn his rig on, and so that I could have a mess about, because about 8:30, 9 in the morning, there was nobody really on. So anyway, and I had a bit of a mess about on it. And a few other people came on, and we had a bit of a chat with a few other people, and I got to like it. I actually enjoyed it. You know, you could sit there, and the thing that really appealed to me was it wasn't allowed. It was illegal, and that really appealed to me, because I am a non-conformist. I don't like to conform to the law. I obey the law. I obey the law, don't get me wrong, I do obey the law. And I'm very, very strictly honest. Extremely honest. I mean, if I find a wallet in the street, and if it's got identification in, I'll hand it in. If it hasn't, there's not much you can do about that. But if it's got identification in, I'll hand it in. I'll even take it round. If it's nearby, I'll take it to the person. The person's house in person, and hand it over. Yeah, I am extremely honest. I do obey the law. I just don't agree that certain things should be illegal. I mean, what right have the government got to say what radios people can and cannot use? The radio wasn't invented by government. It was by any government. It was invented by a private enterprise. That's what radio was. That's who it was. Entrepreneurs, inventors, men of science that invented radio. So therefore, I don't see why the government should say, "Oh no, well you can't do that because you know, we're in charge and you're not allowed to, and you know, you can't go on this frequency or that frequency." I understand there has to be a line drawn somewhere, otherwise you'd have idiots everywhere. I mean, I remember back in the day, you couldn't get, you know, if you were a bit of a jelly brain, people seen to it that you didn't get your hands on a CB radio. That was a fact. You know, people made sure you know, those who had them, if you were an idiot, those who had them made sure you never got your hands on one. Because the one thing they wanted to do was keep the idiots off AM. Well, they failed because I managed to get on there. No, seriously. But that was it, you see. It was all about keeping the idiots off AM. FM, yeah, there's nothing anybody could do about that. When the government stole, basically what they did to create their 40 offset channels, what they did, they stole the top half. They stole the top half of. They stole the bottom half of high band from 1 to channel 26. Retuned it slightly, and then they stole the top end of super high, I think it was, from channel 27 to channel 40, and put them in their own box and called it the UK 1 to 40, when really the UK 1 to 40 is basically a cross between high band and super high band. And that's how they did it, because they couldn't license the American mid band because it wasn't their band, it was the Americans' band. It belonged to the Americans, so they couldn't say, oh well, we're going to charge you for using that. They wanted something they could charge you for, so they came up with their own set of offset channels, which was your UK 1 to 40 on 27 megahertz. Well, most of mid band is on channel is on mid. Most of mid band is on 27 megahertz. There's only about 2 or 3 channels that are not, because it starts at 26 summit, and there's only a few channels that are not on 26, and you know, about 3 or 4 channels or something, without checking the frequency list or even having a radio in front of me. So just quickly connect the frequency counter to and check it. I have got one. I've got a radio in there. I've got a Colt 444. But then people started putting mid band onto FM transceivers, turning them into 80 channel radios, which, you know, I've always seen as a bit of a bad idea. I mean, I had one years ago, and it was a really nicely done job. It wasn't just a hack job, it had been done correctly. It wasn't just a chip. It wasn't just a chip piggybacked onto the PLL. It was a proper board that had been put in this thing, and it had all been tuned up correctly, and it all worked pretty much correctly. It actually had this thing actually had the UK 1 to 40, which is what it was designed to have, and the board that was put in there actually gave it mid band. Yeah, it gave it mid band. It gave it 40 channels mid. I think it had 1 or 2 channels super high and 1 or 2 channels super low, and I think it had 2 channels low, 1 or 2 channels low band. Because I used to go on low band with a friend, and we used to go on low band, and nobody knew where we went, you know, unless they had low band, and you know, it was good back in the day. I mean, it was good. I mean, it's not so good now because it's gone crap, because everybody sits on 19 and nobody moves. you know, 80 channels and nobody moves, and we can even use AM now, you know. I mean, you can only use AM on approved sets. You can't use AM on, say, like my Colt 444. You're not allowed to use those, but, you know, who's going to know whether you do or not? Even the Colt 444 has been modified. I took the low band out, the low band crystal out, and put a super high band crystal in. Turned it to 28 megs because on my AM radio license I can use 28 megs, and you're not allowed on low band no matter what you do. No matter what you've got, you're not allowed on low band. Low band's a big no-no here in the UK. But I think them Colt 444s and TriStar 777s and stuff like that, I think them things were illegal everywhere, weren't they? You know, just about. I don't think they were legal in any country, were they? Does anybody know? They certainly weren't over here. I mean, you know, I tend not to do a lot of CB radios, but I will do the odd one. I mean, I've just, you know, we've just fished that one out the drawer last night, and it had bits missing, and it's now a working rig. It just needs a signal meter. Ow! I've just trod on something stuck in me. Ow! What the hell's that stuck in me foot? Ow, piece of wire. That's saying to me, Andy, you need to hoover your workshop floor more often than what you do. Yeah, so I'm really pleased. Right, I can turn these instruments off now because I don't need them on. I'll give you a highlight of what we're going to do tomorrow, folks. Let's turn these rigs off, turn the power off. I'll give you a highlight of what we're going to do tomorrow, because I need to tidy the bench up and see if I can get hold of another one of these little uni aces to get the signal meter and the bulb. But what we're going to do tomorrow, that's fell on, I'll pick that up in a minute. It's a box of LED digit displays. Right, do you know that's for actually adjusting the oscilloscopes, but it's great for adjusting radios. Right, what we've got here, folks, this is a highlight for tomorrow. What we've got here, I found this in a kit. I found this in a box of stuff that I bought ages ago, and I forgot all about it. They're all your components. I think them resistors are all the same bloody value. They're your displays. And what it actually is, and we've got some sort of a chip there, which is in there we go. Let's pop that there for a minute. And what it actually is, it's a frequency counter kit for testing crystals. Basically, you put it together yourself, obviously, and it's pretty nicely made. I'll just give you a look at it. There we go. It's pretty nicely made. It's not bad. Now what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to build this. It's a frequency counter crystal tester. So basically what you would do I would imagine that you would. I would imagine that you'd put your. I would imagine that you'd put your crystal under test. There's a couple of transistors on there as well. It tells you what values they are, because I didn't get any instructions with it, so we'll put a nice thin tip on the iron tomorrow and get this built. See what it does. Well, see if it does what it's supposed to do. We know what it does. And basically, I'm going to just check in a minute, make sure everything's here. It should be there, because the bag that was in it was sealed, so, but there was no instructions with it. And the chip it uses is a PIC 16F628. And we've got the little displays segments here. Got those. We'll check to make sure everything that should be with it is there. We know the chip's there. So what we'll do, we'll open this little baggie. A little baggie here. Whoops. We've got a resistor there. We've got a variable capacitor there. Got an IC socket. Got 4 diodes. There's the IC socket. Some of the pins on the IC socket are bent, so I'll have to straighten those before I put that on. And these resistors here, these are all because most of the resistors I'll be outside, they're all 1K. These are all 1K resistors, so they're all there. That one's not 1K, that one's something else. Then we've got a little tactile switch. We've got a transistor there. There should be another couple of those. Let's empty this bag out completely and see what's actually here. I'm tempted to build this now, but I'm not going to, otherwise we'll have nothing for tomorrow. Bit like doing your shopping in it and eating all the nice things first. That's the power supply, and that's the pin header that you put your crystal in so you can test it. And it looks like a nice, decently made pin header. That goes where that you pop your crystal in, that either 2-legged or 3-legged crystal. We've got a crystal there. Got 3 transistors. Got some capacitors. So yeah. This is for tomorrow. You know, I don't see the point of starting to build this right now. I don't want to rush. You know, because we won't have a project for tomorrow, because I've not actually dug anything out. So really, really it was going to be finished to CBs tomorrow, but you know, I'm finished with those for now. But yeah, the place where I bought this from, there was a load of stuff in there, and I think the person that owned it before me passed on, because there was a lot of stuff. But that being said, some of it had started to be assembled, and it had been assembled incorrectly. So like there was a Velleman amplifier kit, and some resistors had already been put on before I got it, and they'd been put on wrong. So I don't think the guy knew. He might have just been getting into the hobby, you see. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all have to start somewhere. Yeah, absolutely. We all start somewhere. I mean, there's things I don't know that I wish I knew. I'll put that up at the back there for tomorrow, and that's our project for tomorrow. Let's just have a quick look at the chat. Yeah, the gremlins are in. Absolutely. Yeah, the gremlins are in. Yeah. The Cobra 142 GTL, they're a good radio. I think they got sideband and everything on them, and they got everything on them things. I think they go. Did they go from super low to super high? I can't remember. I know they're more than high, mid, and low. That I am sure of, but I think they go from super low to super high, don't they? I'm sure they do, with a bit of everything else in between. Because on super high band, there's actually some alpha channels, which are, as we all know, channels in between channels. You know, it's, yeah. I've got a nice, what do you call it, in the shack? A nice Harvard 420M. A lot of people will look at Harvards as being crap. Yeah, the good buddy was. And they did a base station, which was a bit crap as well. But the 420M, it's basically a Rotel 230. To all intents and purposes, it's a Rotel 230. Basically. And it has the extra RF stage in it. The extra receive stage. So they actually are phenomenal receivers when they're set up correctly, like mine is. They are phenomenal receivers. I mean, people who throw you £8 on this Midland, they're gonna throw you about nine quid plus 30s. They're gonna throw 9 or 10 quid possibly plus 30s on the Harvard. You know, it's they've got a really good receiver on them. They're not bad. But I remember somebody years ago asking me to look at a Harvard Good Buddy. And I was stood outside his door, stood at his door, I was going past him, he knew me. He said, I've got a Harvard Good Buddy, could you have a look at it for me? And so I said, yeah, pass it here. So he passed it to me, and back then there was no wheelie bins, we had black bins. So his black bin was near his front door, so I took the lid off and just threw it straight into the black bin and put the lid on and walked off. You know, them Harvard Good Buddies, they had the signal meter mounted sideways. They were weird and they were horrible. I mean, I find it hard to work out which was worse. The Fidelity 1000 or the Harvard Good Buddy. Let me know what you think. I mean, the Fidelity was bad. I had one. They were bad. But that great chassis, great as in the company that made it was called Great. They weren't great at all. They were terrible. But that great chassis found its way everywhere. It was like shit in a field. It was everywhere. You know, all the cheap radios had it, and none of them could do 4 watts. They were a 3 watt radio, if you were lucky. And they used to turn the signal meter up so it looked like it was doing 4, but in reality, if you put a good power meter on, you weren't getting 4 watts out of one of those. But yes, I'm waiting for your amplifier. I thought it might have been here today, but it's not. That'll be here Monday, Paul. And you know, did you pull the valve out and wrap it separately? You know, it just protects the valve really. I mean, it just protects the valve, saves the valve getting smashed. You know, but because when I send an amp out, when I send an amplifier back, I always pull the valve and wrap it separately, like I did like I did with Mark's the other day. As you've seen the way I boxed that up, and you know, that's how they should be sent really, you know, and that's how they should be sent. I mean, pack them up lovely, and yeah, I mean, when Mark packed his, he said he did a lovely job of packing it. The only thing I pulled him up on was he left the valve on the chassis, whereas really he should have took the valve off, but I took it off when I sent it back. But he knows that now, because he's got another one coming today he's going to send, and I've done, so he knows now. Pull the valve off and wrap it separately. But which dance set is it out of, Paul? Because I don't think you told me, did you? Is it which dance set is it out of? Not that it makes any difference, but I'm just curious. If it's one of the, what do you call it, dance sets, something like the Popular or something, where there's no mains transformer, I'll have to dig a BSR motor out of the drawer to drive the valve, to power up the valve heaters. They use, what do you call it? They use two valves in them, only they're still classed as as a one valve wonder, because there's only one valve that deals with the audio. The other valve, the UY85, only deals with the rectification. It just makes you DC. But yeah, yeah, so tomorrow we're going to build that kit, see what it does. I've got a crystal knocking about. I'll tell you what else I found as well. I got a load of bits off a mate of mine years ago, and I ain't got a clue what well, I know what they're for. I say I ain't got a clue, I do know what they're for, but I've never tested them. And what these are, I believe these are crystal filters. I believe that there's some sort of filter anyway, and these are these are actually very rare if they're good, and they're very expensive because you can't get them. These were fitted in Cybernet Cox boards, I believe, and what they are, they're actually an inductor with a crystal in them, I believe. I believe there's a crystal in there somewhere. I'll have a look at the chat in a minute, because I know Paul's just sent me a message. And I believe these are prone for failure, but I don't know. But what we might do, we might test one of these and see if we've got continuity on the pins, because if we have, you know, these are pretty valuable, and they're worth putting to one side for another job that might come in, because as I say, they're used in you find these in, what do you call it, you find them in Am International Jumbos, Major 588s, Concords, Multimodes. That's what these were fitted, that's what these were used in, and you can't get them. And I don't know. I mean, there are an inductor in them, so that's what we're going to test for. Yeah, because I think we've got a crystal that looks like it might have a leg broke off. Let's check it against the other one. Looks like there's a leg broke off that one. Because there's a leg there. I don't know, maybe that's right. Maybe that's right. Yeah, it's right. So what we can do, we can actually test these. If I know pug wash, they're probably knackered. There was some output transistors in there. There's nothing reading on that whatsoever. Nothing reading there. Nothing reading there. They're probably knackered. I'll have to look them up, see how they're supposed to read. And I'm wondering, does the green top come off them? I mean, I'll have a look what Paul's put in a minute, because I know he's just. I'll see if the green top comes off them. Because if the green top comes off them, we can take them apart. We can have a look inside. Now, oh, that's broken. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter, I suppose. But I'm just curious as to what's in there. I'd like to just be able to. I mean, they're actually, what do you call it, them? They're actually potted. I mean, that would actually peel off, because you could actually peel that off, really, because that's just a plastic coating. It's all metal under there and there's nothing really to see. And you've got a little adjuster in there which we're not going to turn. That screwdriver didn't adjust it. But yeah, weird. Let's see what Paul was saying. See if it's a friend of mine's just put a video up. We'll watch it later. Probably going to arrive well. That's okay. Or Thursday. That's okay. Alright, it's a Dansette Major 21. Yeah, let's see, what do you call it? Yeah, they're alright, got, yeah. Right, I don't think I've seen a 21, I've seen a Deluxe and a Standard Major. I don't think I've seen a 21. Well. Yeah, well that's. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. That'll turn up on Wednesday or Thursday. That's okay. We'll get that fixed and back out. I take it you're going to service the mechanism yourself, Paul. I mean, they're not hard to do. There's videos up there of me doing them. I mean, they're a straightforward mechanism to work on. You know, they just look hard if you've never done one before. But if you've done one, once you've done one, like shelling peas, you can do them all. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to clear the bench off for tomorrow. Well, I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to clean it tomorrow. I cleared the bench off. I don't know where I put that signal meter, because I know I had a signal meter for this. Because it came in bits. Well, actually I haven't got a signal meter for this. I've got one for the audio line 341. It's the same signal meter, so I know I've got one, but I don't know where it is. And you can't get them bloody signal meters either. You know, you can't just ring up Uniden now and ask for one, because they don't make the bloody things. You probably couldn't buy them back when they were new, because a lot of the parts that were in these you couldn't get. I mean, the output transistors, they were few and far between. They soon became scarce. After a couple of years, the output transistors became scarce. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, because this little radio, it's transmitting, it's receiving. I've set it up as best as my equipment will allow me to, and join me tomorrow afternoon. Be about 1 o'clock or something for the Sunday live, and we'll get that little kit there built, and I'll have a look on Google, see what a Major 21 looks like, because I can't remember seeing one. Probably just looks like a Major, but with might just have a different amp in it or something. But I've got the most common. I've got all the circuit diagrams for the most commonly used Danset amps, which is pretty much all of them. There's only so many. I think the early ones were different, and I came across a Popular Deluxe. Yeah, you can't really fuck up on the mechanism, Paul. I mean, just don't squirt WD-40 all over it. You know, just watch my video and treat my video as a how-to guide on the various mechanism that you're working on. There was only certain mechanisms fitted in those. I think there was a UA7. I think it is. They didn't put a UA6 in those. I don't think. UA7, UA8, UA14, and the 12 was the posh version of the UA14, which had the red knobs and the piece of plastic trim that went right the way across it. Translucent trim. But yeah, if you get stuck, if you get to a point where you can't do it, send it in, and we'll do that as well. But yeah, you know, it won't take me long to do your amp. I mean, I can turn amps around in a matter of hours. You know, once you've done so many of them, you know, this second nature. Anyway, you all take it easy, folks. Join me tomorrow for the Sunday live, and we're going to do that kit. And I don't know. That'll probably take us a good chunk of the afternoon. So I'm not going to rush. I'm just going to do it gradually and gently and neatly. And then we can put a crystal in. I'll dig a crystal out. There was one knocking about here somewhere, but we'll stick a crystal in, and we'll test it and see what it tells us the crystal is. I think you can only use it as a crystal tester. I don't think you can use it as a frequency counter for checking. I don't know, because I didn't get any instructions with it. All I got was that electrostatic bag with everything in it. Anyway, folks, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there, and as Paul just said something else before I go. Yeah, I think they are. They're EL84 valve on them. Yeah, if it's an EL84, it'll be the same. If it's an if it's an ECL82, it'd be very, very similar. Yeah, they tend to, you know, basically with Dansets, Paul, it was a case of one size fits all, really. I mean, Danset didn't make the amps; they were made by wherever they could get them. I think a vast majority of them were made by Mullard. The one that's in Marks, that was made by the capacitor company, because it had their initials stamped on the etched on the board. So that came from them. But I would imagine, you know, they supplied the circuit board anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, he who supplieth the board maketh the amp, because everything after the board being supplied, it's just a matter of all the components being put on, and they were put on by unskilled labour. And the reason why I say that is, it was when you clean the board, you can actually see it's all marked where everything should go. It tells you where all the wires go, so they were actually designed to be put together by unskilled labour. You know, I've actually found a few mistakes on them before today. You know, I've seen, you know, they've said a resistor should be a certain value, and I've found it not to be. Same as capacitors. I found a few mistakes on them, but we get them done. We get them back to Rudolph and up and running. That's the whole point. I'll get this bench cleared off in the morning. I'm not doing it now, it's getting on a bit. I'll get this bench cleared off in the morning, and we'll get we'll get set up for building that kit, and we'll also put some power up it and test it. It'll probably be about a 9-volt battery. So what we'll do, we'll put a 9-volt battery snap on it, and then we'll see about getting some sort of enclosure to build it into, make up make a proper job. Anyway, folks, you all take it easy, and join me tomorrow for the Sunday Live as usual. Good night, folks, and God bless.